What if I told you that I could guarantee with absolute certainty that your sales team could get results for your company regardless of their sales experience, even if they've never done sales before, completely starting from scratch? What if I told you there's a way to guarantee it? That is what we're going to be covering in today's video. What's up, everyone? Dylan Starr here. For those who have been tuning in each and every week, thank you so much. Love all the support and feedback from being able to do these videos to provide as much value as possible. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm really excited to teach this framework that I've come up with over the years. So back in 2018 and 2019, when we had a really, really large closing team, and I was kind of tasked being as head of sales to go and train. I was partnered with multiple influencers who were spending literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on advertising, right? So when you're at that level of budget and you're acquiring that many leads, we had an overabundance of leads, like just a crazy amount, like just not enough bodies to be able to go and handle them. So we didn't have the opportunity to be picky about who it was we were hiring. If anyone was willing to get the shot of closing for commissions at this time, we would literally take everyone. So we're literally just hiring as many people as possible, doing trials, throwing people to the wolves, letting people have the opportunity to go and do sales and close deals and get commissions for these multitude of influencers, right? So it was a very, very large problem to solve. And it was new to me when I was in that position, right? I had never overseen a sales team before. It's just years ago. I didn't have experience teaching my closing strategies and skills to other people. I only knew how to do it myself. So we literally had to grow so fast and learn on the fly. We had as high as over 60 closers on one team from literally a multitude of just hiring as many people as possible and going. And people with zero experience were still closing deals, getting results. Flash forward today, that was with warm leads. Those were paid advertising. Now, I'm literally doing this with actual cold market B2B. You're talking, cold texting, cold emails, direct outreach, cold calling, booking appointments, and closing deals. And still to this day, been training and having people collecting an amazing amount of revenue, closing super high ticket, who started with zero experience, zero. And I'm gonna teach you guys this framework today so that you can either incorporate it for yourself. If maybe you're managing a sales team, you're in a closing position, or if you are a business, you're gonna want to focus on this framework as literally the most important aspect of your business. Seriously, to where you can just get people in and guarantee that you will get results if you hit all three of these and you make them the main focus, right? So let's go ahead and dive into it. Let me pull up the screen share real quick. So I called this my ACT framework. Okay. It just so happened that this worked out to be this way. So it was perfect when I knew what the three of them were, and I was sitting there playing with the name, and I was like, oh my gosh, this actually spells ACT. So it worked out perfectly. So number one, this is the first thing that everyone has to focus on. It is the A, okay? And the A stands for very simply accountability. Accountability. So when it comes to your sales team, if you want your sales team to actually go and produce results, revenue, right? To get revenue for your business or get revenue for yourself, if you're in a closing position, accountability is literally first and foremost the most important aspect to guarantee results. Okay. If you can hold your team accountable to actually put in the work, put in the numbers, do the law of averages, put in the dials, have booked appointments, as long as the action item of people doing calls, booking appointments, and having the shot to close deals never stops, right? The action, it just keeps going and going and going and going. It is physically impossible through law of averages not to close revenue, right? I've proven this time and time and time again for business owners, for entrepreneurs, for influencers. It just always works out that way, right? Now, accountability is easier said than done. You got to understand, at the time I'm recording this, we live in a world now where everything is virtual. Of course, if you have an in-house company and let's say you have an office space and you have a bunch of sales reps, it's far easier to hold somebody accountable when they're literally with you face to face and you have everyone set up at their desks and you're just overseeing their appointments or meetings, making sure they're doing their dials and everything. When you're in person, it's far easier to have the accountability aspect. But doing accountability virtual is a lot more challenging, right? We have times where we literally have to go and sit on Zoom with our reps while everyone is getting trained up and knocking out their daily tasks of doing the dials, booking appointments, etc., to actually hold people accountable. And I used to think before getting into business and doing this, right? I used to want to be one of those people who, as a leader, would leave the reps to freedom, right? Saying, hey guys, put in the work, you will get the results. And I didn't want to micromanage, right? And this is a huge mistake I made very early on in my career, was not wanting to micromanage people because I felt like I didn't want to baby them. I didn't want to be somebody's boss, right? I wanted to have my reps have the freedom and flexibility to just do whatever. And that was a huge mistake, right? If you leave people to the vices of doing whatever and they have their own freedom and flexibility, it is by nature, they're going to fall victim to procrastination, to being distracted, to letting the fear and uncertainty like take over and paralyze them. And to beat that, you must make accountability the first and foremost focus, the end all be all for your team to actually produce results. So accountability is key. And by holding them accountable, guess what? Naturally, over time, their skill level is going to grow just from them putting in pure volume. I already talked about that in a previous video. If you guys want to watch that, I'll put it down below. So the next part that is very, very important is confidence. Confidence. So I knew confidence was going to be the second most important avenue to this, just from doing interviews. So about, I want to say 5 or 6 months ago, I did one-on-one interviews with multiple sales reps. I wanted it to be separate. I didn't want to do the interviews in a group because I didn't want people saying to affect what other people would say as well. So I wanted to get actual raw feedback and see, what were the results that people were getting from being accountable, from actually doing sales, from putting in the work. How was it affecting them as an individual? And what's funny is when I separated it and interviewed everyone one-on-one, this word kept coming up over and over and over again, right? Everyone's just like, dude, like, since I've been doing this, my parents, my relationship, everyone's been coming to me and saying that they don't even recognize me, right? This is the feedback I was getting for people. And I was also using this feedback to help with writing a book, shameless plug, that's going to be coming out soon, hopefully later this year. But I'm just collecting all this data for my book and also to have it just so I can know how to kind of break it down, everything to know like what a good framework would be. Okay. So the thing that came up was absolutely confidence. And it's funny because if I didn't do the interview, this never would have even been in my thought process when it came to sales, is how much of an impact by being held accountable was helping increase their confidence as an individual, right? And that's how I knew, wow, confidence is very, very important. If they don't have the confidence to be on a call with somebody and address even a red flag that they see and point something out that would be almost uncomfortable for most people to say. It takes a lot of confidence and courage to be able to do that. And these two tie into each other, right? So by holding your team accountable over time, it's going to also help affect their confidence because they're going to get more wins, right? And the more wins you have, obviously you're going to be confidence. But so how can you help with confidence? Again, I talked about this in another video, but typically what we do and what we focus on is the accountability first for the team. And then when it comes to confidence, we remind our team of their wins. Okay. Let me say that again. We remind our team of our wins over and over and over again. It's so simple. So every time they're winning, we remind them of what they did, how they got the wins. And then we also point out anytime our clients win. This is key. So round and round you go. Every time you have a client win, put here, client win for your business, we always remind our sales reps and we show it to them like clockwork over and over again. We get our team, our sales team, just so pumped up and excited from the clients getting results, because if it wasn't for the sales rep, the client never would have gotten the result. That is key. And I can't even explain to you how crazy powerful this is for increasing and boosting confidence from your sales team over and over again. And I always look at my sales rep and I tell them, you did this. Congratulations. I congratulate our sales team when we get client wins, because if it wasn't for our sales rep, that client's life never would have been impacted. they never would have gotten the revenue. They never would have gotten results. They wouldn't be super happy. They wouldn't be excited right now. And I let my sales team see that excitement and say, you freaking did this. Congratulations. Right. And it just boosts the team morale and boosts the confidence of the sales reps, right? And puts them on a completely different mental state level to where they're going to just go and keep going and just want to knock it out of the park, right? So it's easy to fall victim in sales to all the rejection that your sales team gets, or yourself if you're in sales. It's easy to fall victim of that. But we want to remind ourselves of the great things that we've done, the wins that we get for our clients, and understand that through all the rejection and all the crap that's being thrown out at us on a daily basis, that there are wins and that we are having impact. And they have to know and understand that over time, long periods, over and over and over consistently, and their confidence is going to boost. Because if you have a low confident individual, right, and we look out for this when we're hiring too, if someone's like super low confidence and they just like have no certainty in anything, like in just normal life and relationships, even outside of sales, it's very difficult to have them in a position where they're going to win, right? So through hiring and doing this by holding accountable, these two tie hand in hand. So here's why it's happening. But now, wait a second. Now you said, but Dylan, you said, I guarantee you'll get results. I do guarantee if you keep the flow of this going consistently, flow, you will get results. Because if they lack in confidence, by holding them accountable, they'll quit. So when we did trial runs of literally taking tons of individuals, instead of saying, you know what, we don't have time to do this whole filtering process, to do a long hiring process, right? We just need bodies now to be able to go and get results for the people that we were closing for. By doing this over and over and over again, what happens is the people that had the confidence that would actually get results, they would stick. The ones who weren't, they would weed themselves out quickly. That's what you want to happen. You want people to come in, you want to weed out, and the ones that stick will be able to stay accountable, will be able to follow the process, and their confidence will literally go in. So people who are super low confidence, automatically, I'm telling you from experience, they're just not, they're not going to stick anyways, because they're just not confident, right? But the ones that already have a decent level of confidence, right, are going to stick, and then their confidence is going to go through the roof, and they're going to be a completely different individual, right? So the third and final one, and again, the reason why they go this is because it goes in this order. Accountability must be mastered first. Then you must focus on confidence. And then finally, once you're focusing on accountability, you have the confidence, then you're going to go to the third one, which is time management. Time management, right? The reason why time management came into play is because while working with our team, I always take notes of the questions that come up all the time. Right. And it's so funny because when working with them, and especially when you have that many people, a lot of the same questions will keep coming over and over again. It's like, hey, you know, what do you recommend for training? Right. How do I get better? They would always be asking me these questions. Training. How do I get better? How to get better? Right. Follow up. They'd ask me about like, follow up, booking appointments, closing deals. All these things were coming up, and I would answer the questions and tell them, like, guys, I've told you how to do this. You guys know how to book appointments. You guys know how to close deals. We already do this stuff. Training. I told you guys what to do on your own time to be able to train and get better. And I've taught you guys how to follow up. You guys know the whole process for following what's going on. And then finally, I got to the root cause and was like, you guys have all these tasks on your plate and you just don't know how to organize them. And what you guys are lacking is you're just not managing your time correctly. And every single one of them, it's like, oh my gosh, he's right. Right. It's like, okay. So what we ended up having to do is we had to lay out a schedule for our sales team to know from this time to this time is when you guys are going to be allowed to actually handle closing calls, right? Doing it. If you have people that are booking appointments, they need to have a set time where their only task during that time is booking appointments. We would manage their time. Now, whenever you have the time management stuff in place, same thing for follow-ups and same thing for trainings. A lot of this time for you guys to go and review your own calls so that you can get better, or to do call reviews with me. We have a set time for actual group trainings for me and my sales team, to where we actually go and we listen to calls and help, tell them exactly what to do and help them improve, right? It's time for follow-up, right? So by having time management in place for your sales team, you literally break down all these things onto a calendar for them, and you make rules in place for their time management to where they cannot fail, right? It's like this time. Now, when you do this, that means if a deal comes up and they have to have time set aside for time management, for focus on training or for focus on follow-up, to focus on booking appointments, you have to hold your team accountable to not breaking that rule. That means if a deal can come in place and someone says, "Oh, I'm available at this time," your team has to have the courage and know not to book calls during the time that they have allotted that's only for follow-up. Not to book calls for time that's allotted that's only for booking appointments. Not to book calls for time that's allotted for only doing sales training. The time management part is exactly for that, to manage their time, to balance everything, because you guys know this in sales. Follow-up is going to be 80+% of your revenue. If you don't have time to be actually do the follow-up and you're just so overwhelmed with booking appointments, or your team is so overwhelmed with handling all the calls and they can't follow up, that's a huge problem. That's an 80% loss of revenue problem, right? Very, very big. So managing the time of your sales team is very, very, very important. And that is why I put together, this is what I call the A.C.T framework. This is literally the main focus of every single sales rep and sales team that I manage for my clients, for my team, for any team ever, right? So accountability, confidence, and time management. If you can focus on these three things and get these down, to always making sure that your team is confident and growing as an individual, not just sales skill, right? Growing as an individual, confidence in themselves is what is going to take them to the next level. Holding them accountable consistently is going to help boost that as well, and just remind them of client wins. And then finally, manage their time correctly with time management. That is how you can absolutely guarantee that sales team will produce results. If you can actually get all three of these in place by pure volume and consistency and law of averages, it is physically impossible not to get results, not to have client wins for your business, not to boost their confidence. Like, it's impossible through pure volume. So I hope that was helpful for everyone. And I hope that you guys will actually go and immediately start implementing this into your business for your sales team, or have that as the main focus. If you're about to transition to the part where you're going to be hiring sales reps, always focus on the A.C.T framework, and it will not fail you. You will not have to stress, and if you're in the beginning stages, about hiring crazy levels of talent. Worry about that later when you have a lot more revenue, to be able to hire talent, right? That's key. If you want to hire actual talent and skills when it comes to sales, then you must be able to have the revenue to attract talent, because talent is already making money elsewhere. So just have that in the back of your mind. If you're kind of more at the beginning stages or medium stages, you're about to go grow a sales team, you have to have a sales team already first for a long period of time, putting up some pretty good numbers and be able to reward outside talent, to be able to attract outside talent. So if you are not in the position where you can do that, all you have to do is just focus on the A.C.T framework and focus on hiring very quickly and firing very quickly through the A.C.T framework. Going through by holding them accountable, people who can't follow the accountability will automatically drop anyways. So it is there to serve you and serve also the people on your team who are deserving of being with you in the long term, to reward them as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the A.C.T framework. And also, by the way, today that this is being released, it is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We are going to be doing a live call breakdown. I'm going to be playing a recorded call from this weekend. This past weekend, we got yesterday, we got a booked call for one of our clients on the sales team who's being held accountable and actually booking appointments. And I've got feedback from everyone here from the channel, and a lot of people wanted to actually be able to hear and see the process when it comes to doing outbound booking calls and closing deals. So in my Facebook group, we are going to do probably once or twice a month, we're going to be doing things like live call breakdown. So tomorrow, Tuesday at 5 p.m. EST, we're going to be breaking down a live call from the rep. You're going to get to hear everything live, see the process and everything, to see how he was able to book this call. So make sure you guys tune in. If you're not already in the group, I will put a link down below in the description so you guys can go and join the group. If you're watching this and it's too late, if it's past Tuesday, no worries. It's going to be literally streamed in the group so you can go back and catch the recording. So if you want to see an actual live outbound cold call to actually booked appointment from one of our reps and be able to hear it and receive training on it, then obviously you're going to want to be in the group. I'll put a link to that down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.